The Rap Roundtable.
Sir, the Rap Roundtable is back on deck with another episode of Monday Night Raw. It's your boy Jarv here alongside Sincere the Rap Snob, alongside the homie Mace, alongside Deanie the
Yo,
Balance.
yo.
Each and everyone who's already pulled up to hit the like button. Don't be stingy about them likes. We need 500 likes for each and every video. Please make sure that you take care of that. Stop what you're doing right now. Stop what you're doing right now. Hit the like. You know what I mean? If
Yes.
you can, because we know that YouTube limits the hypes to 3 times a week or something like that. If you're
Mm-hmm.
still hitting the hype button, for the people who are watching it live, hit the hype at the end of the stream. For the people catching this after the live stream, right, left, hit hype in the comment section area if you're allowed to. If you can't right now, come back later and hit the hype. Well, whatever. You know what I mean? But for now, there's no restrictions on hitting that like button. Stop, everyone. Stop what you're doing because we know a lot of y'all ain't do it yet. 33 people waiting when we got here, and it was only like 12 likes. So stop what you're doing, hit the
Go hit
like
that like.
button, hit the subscribe option, hit the notification bell, lock into all things Rap Round Table. You know what I mean? Fellas,
Yes,
what's the
yes.
word, man? How y'all feeling? Shout out to the real humans as well. Y'all already know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It's been kind of a low, somber week for me. You know what I mean? I don't want to get too deep into it, but like, D'Angelo left us, and
Right.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That shit really. I'm not gonna lie. That shit really hit me, and in a sort of unexpected way. Like the space that he held in music and the way that he was like an artist and the way that like you know he only dropped like 3 albums in 30 years, but each one of those times it hit and
Impactful.
just made so much impact on the game, made so much impact on music. You know what I mean? His collaborations in hip hop, you know what I mean, spearheading the Soulquarians, that's one of my favorite musical movements of all time. With the Roots and Badu and Common and all of them. Like, there's just so much that we lost with that brother, and like it
Oh,
just came out of nowhere, bro. Like so unexpected, man. 51, and he was dealing with cancer, like
Young man.
secretly,
yeah.
like it was a lot, man. I've been listening to nothing but D'Angelo all week. Like everything else has been on pause. Like, obviously new music has dropped. I'm still, the Mob Deep is still in rotation.
Word.
We're gonna get into some Ransom and Primo later, and I know that this is not the soul or neo soul or R&B rap, round table. It's the rap round table, but like,
Salute to Shaka.
yo, yo, losing D'Angelo was crazy, bro. Like I was not, man. Listen, I could go on and on. I could do like, this would end up being a D'Angelo live. So like, I'm gonna pass it off, but like,
Nah, you cooking.
that's where I'm at. That's
Nah,
where
he
I'm
was
at.
cultured, bro. He was cultured.
And I was kind of in the same place this week as you, Sin. Not feeling necessarily as somber, but more like celebrating the music a little bit. You know what I mean? A lot of people, because the D'Angelo family tree kind of derives off of Prince, off of Sly and the Family Stone.
All
Was
that.
my favorite. That's my favorite. My pop's favorite, rest in peace song. My pop's favorite musician ever in history was Sly and the Family Stone. I grew up on Sly and the Family Stone.
You got
So
Stevie.
it made me kind of listen to the family tree. A lot of people were
Yeah.
mentioning Anderson .Paak is kind of like the modern kind of person
Mm-hmm.
who represents that feeling, that sound. So I was kind of in that mood with it, just because I you said it's not the soul R&B roundtable. I listen to R&B like 50-50 with rap. You know what I mean? Like it kind of shows. Y'all know who my favorite artists are. You know what I mean? It makes sense. But so I was on that type of timing too, Sin, kind of celebrating the music, celebrating the legacy,
Yeah,
finding out new stories about him because we all knew he had the
Yeah.
song on Red Dead Redemption, but I didn't know he was like a
Word.
tester, that he was like the
that's
world's
crazy.
biggest Red Dead Redemption fan. I'm like, yo, he's just like me.
He was a gamer apparently.
Red
Yeah.
Dead is a classic.
Yeah.
I
Super.
beat Red Dead 1. I just couldn't. I bought Red Dead 2, and it took like way too long to get past the opening sequence and the first board, and I just
Yeah, he's like,
turned it
fucking,
off.
Bowed out. That yo.
you grown, you don't beat games.
All
I don't
head
got time for
niggas.
that. You know what I
All
mean?
head niggas. The level too complicated. We out of there, B.
Nah, it was just too long, and the game was slow moving. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, why is the
Country
opening
shit.
sequence like an hour, gang? Why am I in the snow for mad long? Like, what's going on? Anyway, as y'all were.
But yeah, man. Just going through all of his music, but then also all the collaborations. Like it's weird because he was heavily intertwined with hip hop throughout the years, but it's not till you like start, curating, all of the features that he had on different rap songs or rappers that he had featured on his song. Because I don't know it with him being such a such a neo soul kind of guy, quote unquote. I know like a lot of people don't like that term, and I'm not particularly fond of it, but like it's crazy that he collaborated with Snoop. He had a joint with Snoop, Red and Meth, Jizza with the Cold World remix, AZ early on with the Lady remix. It was like, when I made my D'Angelo, because obviously I had to make a playlist, I just dumped everything D'Angelo and just had that shit on repeat. I had to like separate the rap features because I was like, oh no, this could be a playlist onto itself. Like he was really like a rap fan and really appreciated lyricists and rappers, rappers. You know what I mean? Redman, Method Man, AZ, Jizza, obviously the Roots, Common, all of that. So yeah, just having the D'Angelo playlist on repeat, but also like the feature set list, like it's just so much. There's so many layers to him, man. So many layers. Rest in peace to that man. Like this is the first time that we're live since he passed away. I had to say something, and get some stuff off my chest because like it was a heavy loss, man.
Well deserved.
And salute to his son too, bro. Because like we lost him and Angie in the same year, so
that's crazy.
We going through it culturally, but that's a little more in depth. So salute to him. I think his name is Michael. So salute to him. I know if he lost a parent, you already the energy. So salute to that brother. Stay strong. It's not easy. Yeah.
Absolutely. Rest in peace.
Genius.
Some family around you, brother.
And in this social media age, you just never know what people are going through and what they're dealing with, and like battling cancer, and we know what that does to people for him to fight for that long and still not let it become his whole identity. Rest in peace to D'Angelo, and condolences to his family, his son losing your parents a few months apart, essentially, or about close to 6 months apart. Like you can hand over many condolences, but like that's got to be tough for him because there's nothing anyone can say that can really embrace him in the way that he needs to be embraced. That's a tough thing. You lose your creators, and we don't know what the relationship is. But I know my relationship with my mom's is. Imagine like losing a parent and losing that confidant. That's tough, man. So again, send much love to him and to the rest of the family. On a more serious note, we gotta transition into the rap talk. We don't want to scare y'all away with too much sadness.
But mentalities.
This is sad in his own way. But Tyler the Creator, speaking of D'Angelo, no less.
Yeah.
Got frustrated because his fans who are not necessarily of the cloth. I won't play the race card because that's how it was brought to my attention by way of people playing the race card.
Yeah.
But fans who were not of the cloth, he felt the way about them kind of like maybe poo-pooing the passing of D'Angelo and not understanding the magnitude and the gravitas of why that was such a big loss for Black culture, right? And he gets to talking about it. And I guess he offended the wrong one because by way of speaking out against his fans, much like we told Benny the Butcher, you got to be careful. This is not back in the day with stand culture, and you're not big enough, be clear, to have the Kenny or the Drake stands, one. But this is not back in the day where fans allow you to be human. In this internet age, a lot of fans, if once you slip up once or they define something you do as a slip, they will get you out of here with no hesitation.
Believe that.
Right? So he says what he says, and immediately upon that happening, old tweets upon old tweets upon old tweets. I'm talking about this person had a shovel and they dug about 10 to 15 feet deep. Tweets from 2011, 2010. We're talking about prime Twitter, like the OG, the true Twitter OG era.
True savage.
You know what I mean? When it was the wild, wild west for we talking about leaving MySpace and migrating over to Twitter. That's how it happened. We left MySpace, we chilled out on Facebook for a second, then we all migrated to Twitter. So now the tweets are out there. He's looking crazy. He's looking funny in the light in a way that I don't think helps his brand in any type of way. So I asked the Rap Roundtable with these tweets that are out there. And for those that don't know, you can't go to his Twitter page and find them now because he has since deleted them. Hopefully, if you search Tyler the Creator tweets, people were smart enough to screenshot them, so you'll see it that way. But fellas, what do we think? Is Tyler the Creator officially tossed? Is he matter of fact, let me not use that word because that's plausible considering So is Tyler the Creator canceled out here? To say the Rap Snob, you're the most mature person on this panel.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Well, I guess I have a reputation for being the most mature on this table. But you might be, I don't know, I guess you might be surprised at what will ultimately be my take on this issue. For one, I started off with like as the tweets were rolling out, and I see one after another. My initial reaction was nobody familiar with Tyler back in 2010, 2011? Like, was nobody around? Nobody like understand like what his kind of shtick was? Like he's the quote unquote alt black kid that just would just wild out and say whatever just for the sake of shock value. That's what he did. He was almost like a black Eminem, like Eminem back in 98, 99, 2000. That was his shtick. You know what I mean? And so that was my first reaction until I actually started seeing and reading some of the tweets, and it just became more and more and more egregious. And then there was stuff that I wasn't even familiar with, even though, like, let's be clear, I'm not a big Tyler the Creator fan. I wouldn't call myself a Tyler the Creator fan. I appreciate him. I appreciate some of his music. I appreciate him as an artist. But this is not gonna like weigh heavy on me. Like I'm not a fan. So but being familiar with him, there were certain things that I was not familiar with though. And like the KKK outfit, that picture, crazy. I was not familiar with the merch that he put out with the blackface like sort of character on it.
Yeah.
That I was not familiar with. And so these pictures start coming out, everything starts becoming more egregious, and I'm like, oh, nah, like his rebrand was really one for the ages. Because you look at him now and you almost forget all of that stuff. Even if you were familiar with it, your brain is like, oh, all right, like that was a phase that he had early on in his age. He's since grown since then. But now bringing them back, it's like, oh, nah, he was really wilding. He was really wilding. He was like maybe late teens, early 20s. And here's where I'll try to grant him some grace. He was young. He was young and purposely provocative. Let's use that word. He was a provocateur. He just wanted to say the wildest shit that came to his head and just like not have any filters or whatever, right? He has since grown out of that, right? And we've all been young, and I don't want to say it that way, but we've all been young and said stuff and done stuff that in our older age we're like, oh no, I was really wilding back then. Like I really shouldn't have done all that or said all that. You know what I mean? But when you have the receipts and you said them on Twitter and you said them in the public eye, that's where the problem lies. And now it's coming to bite you in the ass. And now you're going back and deleting them. Honestly, to me, the worst part of it is that he's going back and deleting them, but not addressing them. You know what I mean? Like if this was his persona, and he's even like he's even addressed this or referred to this in his songs and his lyrics, like bringing up old tweets and stuff like that. Like if this was really him who he was, then just stand 10 toes down and own up to it, right? But now you're deleting without even addressing them. You're letting this public pressure like really get to you. This is like you admitting a great deal of wrongdoing, and now the fire is going to come on you even stronger because now everybody's going to see there's that weakness in you. There's that weakness where you're not standing behind anything, and now you're going to be publicly pressured into taking down old tweets when for a very long time you were like, fuck these old tweets. I don't give a fuck about these old tweets. I don't give a fuck about nobody that's bringing up these old tweets. Now you care. Now the pressure's getting to you. There must be a lot of endorsements, a lot of money that's getting shaky, because for you to now take them down this time, it says a lot, and all of this from D'Angelo passing is crazy. He 100% cultivated the fan base that he has, right? And now he's upset that he has the fan base that he has. You should have been more responsible with the persona that you put out there to begin with. This is what happens when you're young and you think that like nothing is that serious, nothing matters. I'm gonna be provocative. I'm gonna be like, I'm just gonna wild out, and it's never gonna come back to me. You know what I mean? A lot of young people feel that way. A lot of young people feel invincible at a certain point in your life. Is going to come back to you. So please be careful out there with the energy you put out there, because it's going to come back to you tenfold.
Besito, you on mute, dog?
You cooking, Sin, and I'll tag in from there. Personally, the cancel question, I don't think that it's possible to be canceled in 2025 for the most part. You know what I mean? Unless you know there's certain levels, but most nine times out of 10.
My bad. I didn't even answer the question. I just gave like all of my thoughts. Is he canceled like officially? I don't. I think it's gonna pass. I think it'll boil over. I just think he's handling it wrong. But I don't think he's canceled, because again, like we knew this about him already. This is not new news. Like
right.
So
right.
Anyway.
And so to me, it's damn near impossible to get canceled in 2025, mostly because society and popular culture is just not as hegemonic as it once was, right? Like Milli Vanilli could get canceled in the 90s, right? Vanilla Ice could get canceled in the 90s, you know what I mean? But in a world where most artists kind of exist in their own bubble and have their own fan bases and people who don't care if they do right or wrong in, a moral compass sort of way. Like there's no, like, he's not going to lose no sales here. He's not going to, his concerts are still going to sell out. He's still, when he drops, we still going to cover it, as well as the rest of the, the rest of the hip hop landscape. So I just think that in 2025, it's very difficult to be canceled, because, it's mostly your fan base anyway. And a lot of those fan base being stans, right? So I don't think that that's going to happen to him. As far as the tweets, they nasty. They real nasty. You know what I mean? And like Sin said, a lot of us lived through this, and a lot of us have always held Tyler the Creator in a certain type of mental space, because we knew this is where he came from. Sin mentioned it, but people are mentioning in the chat, a lot of these shits were still up until he's in his mid-20s. You know what I'm saying? Like me and Tyler are damn near the same age, and I don't remember ever having a fuck black people phase. You know what I mean? My fault for dropping the cuss, y'all. But you know what I mean? And I know you can't just relate everything to yourself, but what else can you do when you see some shit like this, right? Now, y'all are right. This was a very interesting time on the internet, and an interesting time on social media, and an interesting time on Twitter specifically. A lot of people from that era, have insane tweets, insane, like, just trying to say the most shocking thing. And if you remember when Odd Future dropped, they were coming from a shock value perspective. The first song I ever heard, with Earl and Tyler, they were spitting just like y'all said, Eminem type bars, So while a lot of this can be written off due to the time, I think that's a little bit much, because still, it's not just the anti-black, right? There's R. Kelly tweets in there. There's various other F type tweets in there. It's a lot of people that can get offended by what they saw, not even just just the culture. Now with Tyler himself, I think he's handling it terribly. To be honest with you, you know, just like this, the secret deleting of tweets, the all of a sudden you were speaking about what's going on, and now you just radio silent. You know what I mean? They just caught you on some paparazzi vibes, talking about you'll pay for the lawsuit, frolicking with some white guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a bad time for him, bro. It is. But and I understand a lot of people, you know, wanting to hold him to the fire, right? Because, you know, in 2025, take another shot, y'all. This is a time where culture is being discussed, and anti-blackness is being discussed, and that is very much, I've mentioned it before, right? This is certainly, with a lot of the Gen Z and younger fans, a time where artists are getting held accountable. A lot of us of a certain age, we could care less after the raps what somebody's views were, what they, you know, what type of violence they committed on their family or the community or any type of shit. To be honest with y'all, we didn't care. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't something that we held people responsible for, the artists that we like. But
listen,
in society,
I'm a big pun fan.
right? Listen,
I'll leave it at that.
No comment. But if you know, you know what I'm saying. So is you know, you, to be a popular artist and to be a current artist like Tyler is. He's not somebody who can say I was popular in '97. You know what I mean? Don't hold me accountable. Like, this is somebody who has new fans, who has new fan bases. So much so that, you know, when people were saying who's going to replace the big three, Tyler's name was being brought up. Like, Tyler ain't been around since then. But that's very much the separation that seems to be in his career from this era where he used to talk crazy and act crazy and do, you know, very weird shit for a lot of us, to his, you know, pseudo Pharrell Kanye era that he's in now. You know what I'm saying? With the artistry, and you know what I mean? He has to rep for black culture. Like, it's very two different, it's two different Tylers. So, you know, to in order to have, you know, a certain type of, you know, say in today's game, yeah, these are a lot of the questions you got to answer. We just seen a battle where somebody's identity and how they felt about the culture and everything and so forth was at the forefront. You know what I mean? We mentioned about the post Kendrick world just being about the bars, but it's very much about this. It's very much about your character, and are you what you say you are? You know what I mean? That's a lot of people are being judged by that standard. And so, yeah, Tyler is one of those people that you got to answer for it. Because like you said, Sin, we was all there for it. Not all of us, but a lot of us were there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, me personally, I just think it's impossible to be canceled. You know, like, if he wants to just, you know, do like how Travis Scott did after all them people died at his concert and just pretend it never happened and just rap and make songs. You know what I mean? He can do that. You know what I'm saying? Dean, I'm getting on your favorites today, but if you want to be like that, man, you know, but then he's going to be in a situation where he got to shut the fuck up, right? They're not going to want to see the, oh, you know, D'Angelo meant so much for the culture, or you know, it's not going to seem as honest and realistic from him. You know what I mean? So if he wants, he can act like it didn't happen, but he got to really act, you know, be nonchalant and act like nothing happened. But if he's going to be the outspoken guy that he is, you know, we know about Tyler's interviews, and he talks a lot about hip hop culture and black culture. And this isn't the first time he's mentioned, like you say, the fan base he's cultivated, their distaste and their dislike for the people making the music and the content. So this is not something he's spoken on before. But listen, your paper trail follows you, brother. We know people who got locked up when they were 14 and can't get a job today because of it, right? Everybody said they lying, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot, oftentimes.
Yo, whose background is that?
That's me, bro.
Oh, okay.
But you know, so Tyler's he's in a precarious position, but he got to figure it out.
Copy. I'm gonna keep it a buck. That nigga gonna be just all right, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, we live in a world today where we just find things like he said, tweets from 2010, 15 years ago, bro. Like, niggas is in high school. You know what I'm saying? Since Like and these things have been there the whole time. He's always been, and I'm not, and don't take this as me defending it. I'm just saying, like, you wasn't looking at the shit I was seeing. You know what I'm saying? I honestly thought like the nigga was the weirdo up until like maybe like what's my Igor? You know what I'm saying? I really couldn't get behind the music because he was too weird. You get what I'm saying? Igor calmed down a little bit, but the musicality of everything kind of just brought so many people in. Like I've looked at the Flognaw fucking festival, bro. It's all white people. Like he's defending, you know what I'm saying, his blackness to who though? You get what I'm saying? Is he defending it for us? Like, are we looking at him more crazy than we looked at him before? I knew about I didn't know about the KKK drink, but I knew about the whiteface. I knew about the super pause moments. You know, like these are not too much. Like the R. Kelly shit is crazy. You get what I'm saying? There are limits, but like you said,
I
he
mean,
was.
the pause moment. He is gay. He's openly gay. So like, there's
Is he
that.
though? Like fully?
Yeah.
I so say that, you know, but before I knew that, I just listened to the music in terms of just musicality. He's talented, and I feel like the same way D'Angelo to him is kind of like that catalyst that brought him to a sound. I feel like that's the way these white people are treating him. Like, you know, like we're not really D'Angelo fans. We're your fan. You know, we're fucking with you. So he's explaining that essentially to us, like, yo, like y'all don't know culture, y'all don't know like D'Angelo is one of the greats. Y'all don't know that? They don't know that, bro. Like, how would they know that? They didn't tap into D'Angelo because D'Angelo wasn't making that kind of music for them. The kind of music you make is the kind of music they really gravitate to. Like, he's outside of being black, he's really like a white suburban kid, is he not? Is he not? Would you not expect that as to be a California kid somewhere in Calabasas? You know what I'm saying? Like
Out to
African,
The
you
Cali
know what I'm
view.
saying? African pops who he had a little trepidation with in his life with him, you know, a little back and forth. Didn't really embrace his African shit. Like it was up until then, like where Black America really started like saying, you know what, this kid is, he got something to him, and Black America started fucking with him. But it really was his whole shit is white people, bro. You know, so at the end of the day, even if we all say, yo, you're doing too much, he's not going to be canceled. The cancel part is toast. Like we with the era today, the people don't feel like before there was you're his fan, shame. And then you would shame that person into not being a fan anymore. Like take Trump for it, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't shame the niggas who fuck with him outside of doing it the way you can back in the days. Like people, if they're fucking with it, they're fucking with it. I feel like white people, this is not gonna make them not fuck with it. It's gonna make us not fuck with him. You get what I'm saying? And the truth be told, a lot of us really wasn't fucking with him anyway. You get what I'm saying? I'm talking about from look at it from the nigga. If you're sitting in the shoes, like this is a wild white nigga, a crazy moment for him to just go, you know, fuck all blackness. You know what I'm saying? And just go full on left. And would I be completely shocked by that from the nigga I've known all these years? No. Like I just don't see. Can we be disgusted? Yes. Can we be out outlandish? Whatever. But shocked? Like I'm just not shocked. You get what I'm saying? Because this is kind of like who he's displayed himself to be. You know, maybe he's come around. Maybe in the last since 2017, he said, you know what? I'm embracing my blackness, man. My African heritage. I'm just gonna rep it. I'm gonna breathe it in. I'm gonna make great albums like Call Me If You Get Lost. I'm gonna tap into the culture. I'm gonna be really rapping. And maybe that's what it took. But it's crazy because now that he's embraced by us, this is just gonna I think it's gonna make a lot of black folk go, I'm good on you. But in terms of him being canceled, in terms of the paper stopping, in terms of him having his impact where he has it, he's gonna be good, bro. Just like when black people said, Eminem, you're good, bro. You're good. You know what I'm saying? Still didn't have any setbacks in the road. In terms of music, he gonna be fine. We're just gonna look at him like he's crazy, and there's a nice chunk of us that are gonna be like, I'm out. But I think most people gonna still rock on. He's gonna be looked at as one of those rage against the machine type niggas, which I think he always wanted to be anyway. So I think he'll be fine. There's no cancel happening.
All right. I guess it's an interesting situation, but you know, me and Flex looking in the index for buff neck niggas just for some hot butt sex. That kind of tells you where he's at. Whoever's background on this, please mute because it sounds crazy. The situation comes about. Yeah, it might be you, Sin. The situation comes about where
I think it's Mace.
nah, he's been muted.
I don't think I don't know what it could be unless it's
but
See, it is
air,
you. It
the air
is you,
fryer.
Sin. It is you.
You see how Dini was throwing his whole body in front of Sin. I already did the math, because Mace was
It's
music.
it must be a loud ass air fryer. That's how that's going, man.
Something, but
Yo,
it
that's just
sounds
an
like
air
an
oven, nigga.
aggressive vacuum cleaner. I'm like, what is
Yo.
going on? But yeah, when you have a bar like that, it kind of tells you who he is, right? He was
Crazy joke.
he has a crazy bar.
Yeah.
He was the shock value guy, right?
Yeah.
And much like you, Dini, I wasn't really logged into Tyler like that. The difference between me and you is that I knew he was nice the whole time. Like there was always moments where he would take off the white leading shock value guy and rap, and you'd be like, oh wait, he could do that. And I used to say every now and again, I would say to myself like, if he took rap seriously, he'd be really good at this. I think I've even said it on this platform.
You said that a lot, my brother.
Yeah,
he's really, 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 really a high level rapper.
Yeah.
But he can't help but be the shock value guy. Even now, after he did Call Me If You Get Lost and Chromacopia and all of that. You know what I mean?
Great albums.
This album comes out in the last joint, and he couldn't help but to lean back into what I called Vogue raps. And let's be clear, like when I say Vogue raps, I'm not talking about his sexuality. I'm talking about the kind of music you hear when you see guys who Vogue, the music they dance to. A lot of that album sounded like the backdrop of guys who are what is it called again? Not what is that? What is it called? Not cross dressers. What's the phrase that they do? It's a specific thing that they do when they do that sort of thing.
Drag?
Burlesque?
Drag. Thank you, Sin. Like drag queens, when they get they Vogue on and they dance and they fall on the floor and shit, they dance to that type of music.
I'm mad everybody was silent and I came in. Is it drag?
Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? We're adult here. We're straight men who are not homophobic in any way. So we're good. We got again, like there's no conversation we won't have.
My lady watches that.
Right. There's no conversation we will not have on this platform.
Time, so.
Facts.
Yeah.
So there was a restaurant in motherfucking Lower Manhattan that had some good ass food. They had some drag queens in there. Shit, but the food was hella good. You know what I mean? So anyway, but I was there with a woman and she was highly attractive and I was doing okay for myself. Anyway. I have to add that part because there's a few immature niggas who gonna miss the point. You feel me? But what I'm trying to say is, and I don't want to kick his back in because his tweets don't upset me that much. It looks crazy, but it speaks to his character. I don't think he wanted to be the guy he became. This is me speculating, recklessly speculating. But because he came through on some cockroach eating, super far left, you know what I mean? I don't always believe that certain people end up there because they want to be there. They went there because they were accepted there because Plan A, which would be in his case black guy who rhymes, who's a hip hop head, probably wasn't necessarily accepted by hip hop. Much like Drake. In a lot of ways. When you're not accepted by what you love the most, you tend to start doing some shit that niggas will look at you and be like, yo, why are you doing that? You know what I mean? Aubrey, with that video many moons ago, that's ignorant. And you know what I mean? Whole time he's going home listening to rap. But look at him. He didn't have a shape up. He was, you know what I mean? He spent some time in Memphis, but he spent most of his time in Canada with his white moms. He's raised as a young white guy. Y'all keep laughing when I say the shape up shit, but the shape up shit is a representation of the culture you grew up with. Yeah. If you grow up black or Hispanic in an urban area, you're not going to the barbershop and not walking out there with a friend. No matter how clean your cut is, if you don't get a lineup, something is not right. And Cuz didn't have a lineup for mad years. Drake was so I hate to make this about Drake, but I'm going somewhere. Drake was so non-quote black that when he first got to the league, yes, he had a shape up, but Cuz was rocking a 5 o'clock shadow. It took Drake mad long to realize that facial hair was an option. But when you grow up, but think about it. But there's a lot of white.
That was his Dominican phase.
All right,
You know what I mean,
Dominicans
white,
been rocking the cleanest shape up
Dominican. Then
my whole
The
life.
Dominicans at one point was the cleanest shape up for a little while,
the
bro.
Dominicans are the
They
kings
had
of the
it.
shape up. Okay, you know
The
what I'm
line
saying?
is
When
crazy.
they bring out that little blade,
I still get my shape up from Dominicans to this day.
and they
Clap,
start
clap.
they start with the clippers and then get to the blade. You heard? Like, you know what I mean?
Different.
But Drake, he got a lot of. He's half white, and he grew up white. I don't care what nobody tells me. I'm not here to argue that. He grew up as a white guy, and
Yeah.
his pictures as a kid says that he grew up white, but he loved rap. I go back to Tyler, and I'm like, he's remember the times they used to tell me early in this process, you know, you're from Cali, right? You know, you're from LA. I used to be like, dead ass.
right.
When he was a kid, right? He wasn't accepted by hip hop in LA because his whole getup would have been different. His whole squad was outsiders who linked up to create their own wave. And then he went very far. And if you look at these tweets, it might sound like shock value, but within those tweets is a lot of frustration, a lot of anger. Because you know what?
Yeah.
No matter how mad you might be, how much shock value you might want, I don't care how old you are. There's certain lines that we don't, like, as a black guy who's accepted by black people, me, I can say a whole bunch of shit for shock value. I don't got to play the race card.
Right.
But when you get into certain shit, knowing what the reaction is going to be and knowing that you're not accepted by those people, so it's kind of like, fuck them, you're trolling. You're trying to get a reaction out of these people. And that's at a certain point, when we get to talking on this pod, and I'd be like, oh, such and such is suffering from success, or such and such is aloof and shit, things of that nature. You'd be like, how do y'all know that? Y'all niggas is just some regular niggas. What we're seeing in real time is a perfect example of a person who's had a lot of success, and he kind of forgot because he's not really plugged in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't realize just how white his audience was until he made that D'Angelo tweet. Your audience was never black people. You had every black person that watched Loiter Squad that I know, they weren't listening or carrying themselves hip hop like. Like, I might have seen an episode or a segment of Loiter Squad, but I've never dedicated myself. I never fucked with Odd Future. I was never plugged in. I thought that shit he was doing with Jaden Smith was weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the music that they would put out every now and again when they would get to that shit with Jaden Smith, that video with Jaden Smith, and it was him and ASAP rhyming. I remember I threw that in our group chat. Like, yo, that was one of the first times I said, yo, if this nigga could do that, why doesn't he do it more?
Yeah.
And that was, I think that was before we even had a podcast.
Potato salad.
Potato salad. I was gonna say mashed potatoes. Trying to remember what it was. Potato salad. Yeah.
What I'm saying is a demographical conversation. The people who watch Loiter Squad are the people who supported Odd Future are the people who supported his music. This guy must have thought that because recently he's sort of veering back. He finally found his blackness in a way of audience. There's a black audience that look like us, that like what we like, that supported some of the music that he's been putting out. And I think he forgot that your floor are white people.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't remember that his floor was white until he got to talking about D'Angelo, a blackity black artist, as black as it gets, neo soul music. That's not for white people. They might tap in and they might like it, but neo soul has a target audience. That's a keynote phrase here. Target audience. That's very black. He forgot that you did a bunch of bullshit and you said a bunch of bullshit that relates to a specific audience and a specific, safe to say it, race of audience that like that type of shock value bullshit. Quite frankly, 45 and 47 built a whole wave on saying the things that you're not supposed to say.
Shock value. Talk, Charles.
If anything, Tyler should come out, and I don't even think he should apologize for the tweets. Because you know what? And I'm not even sanctioning the age shit. Because fuck shit is fuck shit whether you're 17, 27, or 37. All them tweets is fuck shit. I've been on Twitter since 2009. And I've said crazy things, but I've never veered into that space.
Right.
While I'm not offended, we have to call fuckery what it is. Those is dumbass tweets.
Crazy.
The Black
tweets,
History
bro.
tweets, the Hitler photos, the Ku Klux Klan shit,
R.
all
Kelly.
of that shock value shit.
Yeah.
Because what it tells me is that you're not cool enough to engage with the audience without saying some bullshit. You know what I mean? That's the most judging I'll do to Tyler. But what I would say is Tyler should come out and not necessarily apologize, but just speak to that. Like, you know what? I was a bozo when I was younger.
Yeah.
And you could tell through my career path that I was once a bozo. I matured, and I found myself in my more mature years, and I transitioned away from that, and I grew out of that. If you look at my music right now, I don't even do that type of shit. I'm not on that. I'm not on that no more. I was on that, and I was a bozo, but by way of me deleting the tweets, I'm showing y'all that because he didn't have to delete them tweets. He'd been there 15, 16 years. But the first step he did by deleting the tweets is telling us, and I'm taking it this way, that he knew he was a bozo and he did some fuck shit and he's grown out of it. You know, if he was embraced by culture, our culture, the way he probably would have liked to have been, them tweets would have never happened. Because what people don't understand when they get into this hip hop shit, into this culture shit, it's not just music. It's understanding what blackness is all about. That's why people sometimes they get upset when they see a sin. No disrespect, sin. When they see a sin with us and they think he's white, but he's still Hispanic, so he don't count. Or they see white people embracing hip hop because they feel like it's not theirs to embrace because it's not just music. It's how you walk, how you talk, your belief system, the way you eat food, all of that. Because when you're around some hip hop niggas and you chew your food the wrong way, niggas gonna cook you for it. It's all relative. So when you understand that, and then you get to saying dumb shit about Black history, that's not hip hop. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he found his hip hop voice maybe 7 years ago. You take what I'm saying?
Facts.
Honestly, I would
around
say,
ego, bro.
I would honestly say, "Call Me If You Get Lost" was
the one that brought him home, bro.
The culmination, like
That's everything. Wipe your feet.
That,
step in the house.
Like people love Flower Boy, but everything from like Flower Boy and before,
they love Flower Boy though.
That was like,
they do.
Like right. I'm not gonna lie. Like
Igor, he was talking to his core base, which was
somebody
the gay, bisexual,
sonic quality was crazy though.
For sure.
I forgot who it was.
Crazy.
Somebody had put Tyler and Childish Gambino in like the same category. It was a
no way.
I was mad. I was kind of mad at it. But now that I'm thinking about it, like Flower Boy was like that. That was like the Childish Gambino era, right? Where it was like, you know, it was like you're in this like sort of nebulous area between like, okay, like you're black, but you're not quote unquote too black. You know what I mean? But you're also not white. You're kind of like in this alternative space where you feel kind of like they look at you as kind of being like safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not as threatening, you know, as the hardcore, you know. That's the space that he was in, I think, with like Flower Boy. You know what I mean? But then it wasn't until Igor and then Call Me If You Get Lost where I feel like he really finally said, you know what? Nah, fuck it. Like I'm black. I'm black. I'm just gonna.
I'm embracing it.
I'm gonna embrace it. Like,
but what's the correlation? Acceptance. As certain people in the culture started to realize what we had already saw years ago, that this guy's really good at rapping, and he leaned into it, and then people, the blogosphere, the rap fans, was like, yo, Tyler, come over here, bro. You good, bro? That white boy cool. Oh, but he's not white. Oh, but you cool though. You know what I mean? They let him in.
It's a different energy, bro. Like being embraced by the white folks is one thing, but like being embraced by the homies, the culture, it just that I'm sure he always wanted to be on his side, even because truth be told, Tyler might have always wanted to be on his side, but we might have just never embraced him.
That's why I'm going. I want to make sure that I say this because people love to play gotcha or misconstrue what niggas is trying to say. He was raised black. Remember in the project, he had his mom basically narrating it.
He's hood. Salute to her.
He was raised black. All of that dumb shit he was saying for shock value on Twitter, he always knew better. But he was in his feelings because niggas wasn't jacking him like that, bro. That's really all it is.
And also,
so he hid the frustration by way of shock value, but he always knew better, bro.
But this is what happens. This is what happens when, like, in
facts.
This is what happens. I don't want to speak for the black community, but I mean the same thing happens with us when you're like, you know, kind of too weird to be in like what's accepted in the community generally. Like there's a lot of frustration that grows within people, like when they don't feel accepted. They don't feel accepted within their community 100%. but then they're also like they're definitely not in the mainstream community because like they can't be, right? Skin tone. So so like where do you fall? And that's the frustration that I think that was exhibited in like a lot of the early Tyler years. Is like he just wants to be mad. He wants to get the frustration out any way that he can. And if it's saying fuck shit, if it's trolling, if it's just being purposely, provocative or purposely offensive, like that's what he was doing.
Whatever gets you to listen.
That is true, and that is, we can give him kind of sort of some grace for that, but that doesn't always form into fuck Black History Month. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't always form into being even, saying the same shit that the white people would say about your people. You know what I'm saying? So while there is a lot of
not to cut you off, Mace, because it needs to be said because you about to get downhill. But you remember what you just said about it shows itself in saying fuck Black History Month in the culture. He's not saying fuck Hanukkah. He's not saying fuck anything that's identifiably white.
Right.
So it's clear. It's clear that he had an audience that he was aiming at with these tweets. Go ahead, bro.
Right. And also with him, it gives off a lot of, because this is such a modern argument, right? You know what I'm saying? Because it gives off that Black person, that exceptional Black person. And to me, that's where the Donald Glover comparison comes. Like, I'm not like those other Blacks. That's what a lot of his tweets screamed to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't judge me like you judge them. Tweets like, why don't Black people like snowboarding? Why, you know what I mean? Like shit like that. So it's like,
well, the sushi tweet.
Right, you know what I mean?
Like he could have just made it about sushi, but he was like, I never tried sushi, because Black people don't ever, experiment with food.
Which is not true.
Mad Black people eat sushi, bro. He's wild.
It's very if you read it by a white guy, you wouldn't. If you read it and somebody said, "Hey, a white guy wrote this," you'd be like, "Okay, I can see that."
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So with Tyler, there is a lot of that, right? And I agree. The acceptance was very vital to his, awakening, if you will. But it's like I still think, because that's why I call it a modern argument, because even there are, Black people who are completely Black culture. We don't speak on our other people. We don't. There's a certain respect and integrity we keep when dealing with other Black people. But there is this section. There is the middle section, right? The what his earlier tweets read like, and those read like, I'm Black but not really Black. You know what I mean? And that's where a lot of people get offended, because the Tyler shit was a microcosm of what people already see online. You know what I mean? The Boule Blacks, the HBCU, high class. You know what I mean? It's a very Black conversation. So you see people getting offended by it. Tyler is very much a proxy of what they've experienced and seen online with other people. Now, Tyler himself got the opportunity, because we've seen for years, you know what I mean, when people say, oh, that's one of those Black people that learned they was Black 2 years ago, or learned they was Black after Trayvon Martin, or got they, N-word wake-up call. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a lot of conversations that Tyler himself, because he was so vocal and because he's so famous, is taking the bullets for, to be honest. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, he could, I agree, Joff, he don't have to apologize per se, but it could lead into a very interesting conversation about acceptance, about, what people think about Black people, how people just blanket statement all Black people. It could lead to a very interesting conversation. So I don't think he needs to hide from it per se. And it's one of those things where I can understand him, and I can understand, the change in life, because everybody deserves the change if they put in the work. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I do understand that some people just ain't gonna accept it. You know what I mean? Some people's like, fuck that. You know what I mean? Because like us four, we never had that phase. So for other people who never had that phase, they could hold the weight to, or hold the space to not take his apology as non-apology.
Can you see him doing that though? Like, what's that? Remember that old adage, like a kid will come back and burn the village to feel it's warm for some shit. You know the adage I'm talking about? They
Yeah,
say
I know
like,
what you're talking
yeah,
about.
basically like maybe you think he will come out and just say like, yo, I was on that type of time because just black people just never embrace me. Like that's a hard pill to swallow. You know what I'm saying? To just say
This
that.
is, and that's the conversation, right? Like
He's
there's always
open. He's an open artist, but it's that's not easy to say. Like, yo,
right.
I was on this team because my people was not fucking with me, so I had to go over there and be embraced by this side and then now that they, you know what I'm saying?
I
Like
would
that's
no, I
I
wouldn't.
can't
I
see
wouldn't
him
do that.
doing that.
I don't. Here's the thing. I don't even think he thought it through that way. I just think that that's based on his upbringing, based on his whatever frustration or even resentment that he felt growing up, being like the weird
Cast
kid in
nigga.
the community, and not being accepted. I just think that was like the natural progression of things. That's just how where the cookies landed.
And I want to just say something that's very
The
important, right?
butterfly effect.
Y'all
Yeah.
cooking. This D'Angelo moment speaks to the true issue at play here, and it's this whole thing of what I'm coining now avatar culture, where you get online and you something else, but then once you log off, you're your true self. Because you think he just started listening to D'Angelo? You get on there saying a whole bunch of fuck shit for your your online persona, but then in your real life you blasting neo soul motherfucking music. You
Right.
listening to Wu Tang. You listen to his raps. He one of the nicest. Let's put it. I'm not saying he top 50, 100. We not fuck a list. Don't be that dickhead in the chat either. But skill wise, he's immediately one of the nicest ever. If we
In
just talking about
2025, yeah,
not
especially.
greatest rapper of all time with the greatest, I'm talking about if you just listen to the nigga rap, he's one of the
Okay.
nicest ever. Ever. You think that just
Hey,
happened?
he
You don't
on
think
that
he been,
Clips album with Push with Kendrick. You know what I
Holding
mean?
his own, holding
this
his
nigga,
own, man.
this nigga's here writing some of the sharpest bars, pocket work. He switches flows. Like he honed his ability to be wild nice at rap for mad long. This didn't just happen. He didn't wake up nice one day. So he's been living his life blackety black while cosplaying some other shit on the internet when he was younger. That's avatar shit. You know what I mean?
Different.
Yeah.
If he would have just been himself the whole way, which was a blackety black individual who might happen to be gay or bisexual, we wouldn't be here right now. Fuck being
Yeah.
accepted. Just be
Look,
yourself.
Yeah, and we haven't gotten into the sexuality of it all, but I'm sure that beyond being a weird kid, like being a queer kid, that adds a whole other layer to it.
Yeah.
And the thing I wanted to add this too, like because we've had artists, specifically early, I'm sorry, late '90s, early 2000s, like the Raucous era. We had like the Qualis and Mos Defs and Commons, and a lot of people didn't gravitate to them because they felt like they were like sort of judgmental, and that's kind of like the feeling I'm getting. I was getting from Tyler too, from like, but he was judgmental in tweets. You know what I mean? Not in the music. You know what I mean? He wasn't putting in the bars. He was just being an asshole and being judgmental in on Twitter. But there was also like a sense of resentment there too for being black, which is I think something that we it is uniquely his, because while we've had like other artists like the Qualis and them that people will be like, oh, they're mad judgmental, they feel like they're better than motherfuckers. Yeah, but at the core of it was like everything was pro-black, and that wasn't what it was with Tyler. Like he would like maybe there was a pro-blackness that he wanted to, I don't know, express, and he didn't know how to, and he was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna just be a troll. I don't know where the wires got crossed, but like it's the resentment part for me that separates him from like other people that we've seen in this space.
And I will say this, my fault, Jog. I know you about to. I will say this, and Sin, I apologize. Whataboutism? I'm gonna have to use a little bit.
All right.
A little bit.
Oh,
but I do feel like that when it comes to these conversations, these culture conversations, these anti-black conversations, that people feel much more comfortable slandering a nigga like Tyler, a nigga like Drake, a nigga who they feel like they could take in a fight, rather than the gangster rapper, the trap
It's
rapper,
true.
the drill rapper. I don't
It's
see
true.
niggas addressing a Lil Durk about anti-blackness online. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? I know that's a random name I threw out there. Salute the Lil Durk, free
but
Durk.
that speaks to a rabbit hole of a much
Rapoto.
deeper issue, though.
I
Right,
mean,
Yeah.
right.
That's a
That's a
whole
loaded
that's a
convo.
loaded conversation.
I mean, we kicked Wayne's back in when he was on his Trump shit. You
We
know,
did.
on his police shit. We did that. You know what I mean? I don't know about anybody else.
That's what I'm saying.
Nah,
We not
we
scared of niggas saying like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like,
Most niggas don't want to say nothing about those things, bro, because they just don't want the backlash.
That's why I always
Niggas
say, like, there's
nervous.
no conversation that we're not willing to have because, we're capable and we live on Earth. A lot of people don't live on Earth with some of their points of views and they enjoy judging. I feel like one thing we haven't done is judge. We might kick Drake's back in, but we always kick his back in with cause. You know what I mean? Whether you're a Drake fan and you like it or not, that's a different conversation. But we don't wake up and say, you know what? Fuck Drake. I don't like the way this nigga breathe. I don't like the way he wears pants. You know what I'm saying? Nah, we kick his back in for doing dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with
It's a just back kicking.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's the same thing with this guy. I don't even think we're kicking Tyler's back in. But the reality of the situation is you didn't do right, gang. If at this point the lesson should be yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you be yourself and you run the race how you're supposed to run your race, the people will come eventually. They might not show up at the time you want them to show up, but they're gonna be on deck, bro. You know what I'm saying? All that avatar shit. I think Hex in the chat was saying something about he was using the F word FAG and maybe he was pretending to be gay to get them off his back. But all of that shock value shit, everything that might be deemed counterculture or a different culture that's offended by what you say via your words for the sake of trying to get a reaction out of people. If that's not your body for real, then don't lean into that shit. Is my point. And clearly, that wasn't his body for real. He did it. He did it as a gimmick. You know what I'm saying? And, and sometimes gimmicks are good, but when you have things like the internet and Twitter, gimmicks can come back to now bite you in the ass. Because now you're not living those tweets no more. You super black. You pro black.
And trying to delete them ain't gonna run from them either because the screenshots are everywhere. Like
there it is. And to the people like George Jones saying forget it and all this and that, nah, we're not gonna forget it. Because it happened. We gotta talk about it. You know what I mean? He's not getting canceled, but we're not gonna not talk about it either. If you got an issue with us conversing about shit that impacts people that look like us, George, all right. I don't think I gotta say the rest. But fellas, I gotta go. Y'all can carry the pod. I'm up out of here.
Javi, man.
Y'all be good. I'd like to kick Drake's back in for the leaks, but I got some things to do. So I'm gonna holler at y'all. Chat, be good. I'll holler.
You're right, y'all.
Yeah, and just to put a cherry on this, like, Jaw was saying, just be yourself, be who you are. Like, I think Tyler's finally gotten there, but he still has to deal with things that he made very public, that there's still receipts for, that is still up in on the internet, in Twitter. And as far as how do y'all feel like he should go about this? Like, because he's going about I think we all agree, like, he's going about this the wrong way. Like, just being radio silent. I understand, like, it's just been like a couple of days, but being radio silent and deleting tweets from behind the scenes is probably making things worse.
Like, I don't think jumping to attack it right now is something you should do. Play the long game with this shit. Like a month or something. Say you have a little interview going on, you speak about this shit. You tell niggas, I was keep it a buck. You was lost. Like, shout out to Loaded Lux. You was a lost nigga. You know what I'm saying? Said you was lost in the sauce. You found yourself. You've identified and recovered your blackness, my nigga. You had to dig for it. You excavated your blackness. You found it. You're back. You're on the team. And just keep it a bean. I think anything else trying to shuck and jive it, bro, is only gonna make people like us look at him more crazy. But his fan base, the consistent, solid fan base, I think they're there for the long haul, bro. As long as he don't say nothing crazy about them, he's A1.
I think he should say something for his fans, you know what I mean? Because there are black fans that he has that didn't know about this. You know what I mean? I seen the legendary Ariel Smoke in the chat saying it's the first time they had seen it. So I think for the people who gotta go online and defend you, and the people who do fuck with you, and the people who do spend money to put money in your pockets, I think he owes them. He don't owe the people that's gonna be mad anyway. He don't owe people who just want drama. Nah, but for his loyal fan base, especially his black fans that are either just finding out about this or have given him grace even though he did it. I think he should say something for them for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
sidebar to what May said, real quick, Sin.
Yeah.
That's another thing with the sidebar hating. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you hating, but you can't affect your hate can't affect nothing in no kind of way. Like, you don't buy albums, you don't listen to the music, you don't go to shows, you know what I'm saying? Where you would say, I'm done, but your done is like, who gives a fuck? You get what I'm saying? What is your done? You're not even in. How are you out? Kind of shit. Like, I just feel like there's a lot of that all over the net. I'm like, you were never there. So you
Yeah.
not being there ain't gonna take nothing away. Niggas, it is what it is.
Yeah, well, I feel those specific people will, I don't know, I guess feel some type of vindication, like, oh, see, I was never a fan, see, because I always knew, I told you so type of shit. You know what I mean? But we always gonna
They
hear
been calling that man Gold Dust in the chat. Like,
that's crazy, man. People wilding in the chat right now.
Yo, the best chat on fucking earth, nigga.
For me, I think he should definitely address it. He should definitely say something sooner rather than later. Choose his words carefully for sure. I think, I don't know, I know John said no apologies. I think there should be some type of apology involved to his black fans.
But what is he apologizing for? That's
For being
like,
a dick.
That's what I'm saying. Not apologizing for having the tweets up. Like, I want a real apology, bro. I'm sorry for posting that shit online. Like, I'm sorry for feeling that way. I don't want that. I don't want that.
Look, it's hard. It's hard to explain that type of phase, but like, he could say, look, I was young and I was going through a wild phase where I just wanted to be as provocative and as
crazy phase, bro.
as insulting as possible. Just because for whatever reason, maybe he was angry, maybe he was frustrated, maybe he had resentment issues, like whatever.
I wanted to be a lightning rod or whatever, some shit like that. Yeah.
But on the flip side of it, I definitely don't think he should let go of whatever his feelings are about his white fan base. He should definitely double down on that and say, like, yeah, I'm gonna apologize for this, but y'all not off the hook. Like, he should challenge that fan base. He should challenge them to be like, all right, you a fan of me, but this is what I'm a fan of. You can't disrespect the shit that led to me being who I am. You know what I mean? Like, how does that look?
Our lineage, yeah.
It's this is my lineage. You disrespecting my lineage, you disrespecting me. Like, you can't that doesn't fly. How's that gonna fly? And look, them folks gonna do how they do. They'll probably, most of them will probably be like, oh, who's this motherfucker trying to tell me how I should act, how I should be, whatever. But I don't know. Maybe some of them will be like, you know what, he might have a point. And if he could, if he could reach at least like a small sliver of that demographic, to maybe open up their horizons a little bit more, then that it might do some good. It might do some good. Anyway, let's move on though. Drake. We'll talk about Drake. Again, yes, one more time.
Yes. Another one.
I'm gonna defer over to Mesito.
Sir, yes, sir.
The resident OVO representative.
I was in the chat. What's up?
Yes. Thanks. What's going on with Drake right now? I heard the leaks of a new leak.
Another day, another ghost reference track leak.
Right? More ghostwriting?
Whoa.
Actually, we don't know, right, about whether it's ghostwriting or not, because it's an unreleased song, Trump Tower, joint that he was supposed to do with Central C, which I liked more than the actual song he dropped with Central C. But the producer of Beam, somebody who is, been accused of one of the writers in Drake's camp, somebody that is confirmed in Drake's camp. It's not, what I mean? He's definitely down with the team. His producer, now I don't know what his producer is. Like, you see that they act like this is, it might not be Beam's right hand man. I don't know, but a guy who is claiming to be Beam's producer, because I've never heard any of Beam's music to know whether it's his producer or not. He came out, he released some reference joints on his IG story of the Trump Tower joint, him rapping Drake's, verse on there. And frankly, and actually afterwards, say that some people ran down on him. I believe he's in Miami. Later in his IG stories, I think the next day he had made a mention of, basically them trying to run down on him. He even made some accusations towards Tiger, like he lost his laptop, and then when he tracked it, it was where Tiger was. I don't know too much about that, but yeah, more ghostwriting things, and also because the first time a lot of people heard about Beam was on Euphoria. You know what I mean? Not a 20v1, it's 20 if I got to smack niggas that right with you. So that's where a lot of people are gloating about that. A lot of people are hyping about that. And it's yeah, you know what I mean? Of course, like come on now. So, as far as whether how I feel about it, as a fan, it's not really affecting me, to be honest with you. It's been so many horrible things that happen, as a Drake fan for so long. This is like 15th on the list. Like, who cares? You know what I mean?
Like, sunny day.
Come on now. You know what I mean? So as a fan, it don't really affect me. I know it's a lot of ahas, like Drake again got another writer, but I don't think that the what seems like to be the R&B-ish kind of bridge. I know I get it. What Drake does is not R&B, guys, but just roll with me for now. The little bridge that he's doing here, it don't really, I think Drake fans have already taken the L as far as knowing he got references, knowing he got writers, knowing he got, all of this going on. And our last vestige of hope is like the rapidy rap records. You know what I mean? That's our go-to argument every time any one of these references come out. Well, at least it's not, Churchill Downs or 5 a.m. in Toronto. But as far as for me to be objective about it, to get into my objective bag, it's a bad look for sure. You know what I mean? Drake losing the lawsuit, the Iceman rollout seemingly disappearing. I don't know, like it just like there was episodes and it just stopped, bro. I don't know what the fuck is going on. So it is a bad look. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how much worse PR Drake can have than right now. Get your shit in order. You know what I mean? Because this is sloppy. I know a lot of people are saying, well, this happens all the time. And yes, I do agree. Hooks get written for rappers. Concepts of songs get written for rappers. You know what I mean? Maybe the beat and the verse and the hook. That does happen, but they never drop for anybody else, guys. You know what I'm saying? They never drop for anybody else. And to me, that's the biggest thing, right? Like we can make these accusations, we can make these claims. I know Academics had a real viral kind of tweet that split people down the line where he's like, well, Jay and Kendrick and all of these people got ghostwriters, and it's like, I never, we don't. Even if you're saying like some sort of industry secret, Academics, then you got to come with some sort of evidence or proof, because when people within the culture, when we're speaking about having shit written for you, we mean the verses, we mean the bars, we mean the shit that we think of as your handiwork. So it's objectively it's nasty for sure. And I just wish that Drake would kind of get his shit in order. You know what I'm saying? Because if that is the case, if everybody in the industry has ghostwriters and this happens with everybody, then why nobody else shit get leaked every other Wednesday? You feel what I'm saying? So that's the ugly part of it to me, if I'm just being objective. But as a fan, nah, I'm good. I'm still enjoying the tunes, bro.
Then has a retort.
I mean, the Spotify numbers they still are what they are, Mace, definitely a big part of that.
Come
you know
on,
what I mean? So
keep spinning.
Apple replay,
yeah, all that. Deanie.
Man, just in terms of the whole thing, just more of an L, like the Floyd Mayweather L's, more of an L. But like at this point, it's like I'm standing in the ocean and niggas is telling me it's raining. Like, how many songs have they told that this nigga had ghost written? You know, so I don't understand. Like, is the 20th song gonna be the one that makes us go? I just he gets ghostwriters. Kanye gets ghostwriters. Like certain niggas just they're in that camp. They get ghostwriters. Dr. Dre, ghostwriters, like Puff, ghostwriters. Like once you get into that zone, once you're in that realm, there is no way out. We love Kanye, but once he was in that realm, we had to stop looking at him like that. And once that pen is in question, man, we stop looking at niggas like that. So I mean, are some people gonna say, is it the rapidy raps? No, but like I just feel like once you become um one of them foundational artists, you kind of don't do nothing by yourself no more. Not everybody's Nas and Jay-Z where they gonna go in and do the whole shit by themselves. I'm at the point where I understand that, bro. We're at the point where like being a gifted MC who writes and crafts his own music is like a gift at this point. It's not like the 90s. We gotta let it go. Like a lot of these niggas get help. I just feel like why be mad? Like it's like listening like the serial killer caught the 117 body. Oh no, like nigga, he killed 116 niggas already. Like it just I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. If we want to classify him as that, just classify him as that. Don't put him in a real rapper category. But this has been discussed since what 2015. If you're reading this, if with the Quentin Miller thing, so in 10 years now we're surprised there's another ghostwriting allegation. Yo, we gotta chill, yo. Like sometimes people just be too fiend tapping the vein to be just like an outrage. It just adds to the L in terms of the how long is the count, Mace? How many days we looking at from March 2020?
How many weeks?
Yeah, how many weeks we
We
looking at,
about
dogs?
70. We about 75 weeks in there.
God
I ain't
damn
gonna,
it.
bro.
You know what? In terms of that, it's just more L. It's more L on the barbecue.
Lord.
But I'm not like, come on, man. This is what he does at this point, right? Like, what are we arguing about?
Listen, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with y'all. Like, look, if I were to turn on the news right now, you know, what I mean, there'd be a report about, you know, some shooting or some type of crime in the Bronx. There'll be a report about, you know,
Like the Joker said.
The president says some crazy wild where he mispronounced a word or couldn't get through a cohesive sentence. And Drake got ghostwriters. You know, like this is just a regular occurrence at this point. This is just it's just Monday. That's all it is. It's another Monday. You know what I mean? It's been some time since we've had one of these leaks, but you know we were about due. You know what I mean? His quota was kind of low, right? And so like he got to fill that quota. That's all it is. Like none of this shocks me anymore. And I'm, just as jaded as I am about everything else in the world, I'm just as jaded on, Drake having ghostwriters, and having people write his songs and his lyrics. You know what I mean? Again, sure, it wasn't, a timestamp record, but like it's just there is a level of how many of these L's can possibly pile on before Drake finally breaks. Like how much of this can he like withstand on his shoulders before like his strength finally gives way.
The L that broke the camel's back, bro.
Bro, like I don't get, like, sure, he's a multi, 100 millionaire. So he, these are the type of L's that, like, when you have hundreds of millions of dollars, like, sure, you can get away with not caring about. But as far as like looking forward, as far as like looking towards, the next few years in his career, like everything just looks like it's going downhill for him. It all feels like it's going downhill. Like I can't honestly like think of like, okay, he had Nokia, right? But that was a silver lining. But like everything just feels and looks cloudy for him.
Ice
That's
skating
why
uphill, bro.
I'm very interested to see the not just numbers, right? Because numbers are one thing, but just the feeling and the impact of the next Drake project. Because like you say, Sin, optically and as people who cover this shit from week to week to week, day to day sometimes, it does seem like that. While the numbers do rise and rise. So I'm waiting to see what the middle ground is there. To be honest with you,
There's no way.
as a cultural just observer, I'm very interested to see like what's the middle ground there because I see them making predictions about the numbers.
The first week is gonna kill. The second week is gonna tank because the first week is gonna have the people who don't really care. They just want to be hate. They just want to hate. They gonna tap in. So that's gonna really boost the sales up for that week. Now the people who stick with it gonna stick with it, but I just think like the first it might go stupid because even people who hate him are gonna tap in and listen to the album.
Right.
So,
but
the
also
first week will tell you, but the second week is gonna tell you the truth.
When I say that, I am more sort of talking about us, like our ilk, right?
The cloth,
the cloth, the heads, or even the cloth of Jace, like people that pay attention to these things. If you've been a Drake fan your entire life, and you're not having these types of conversations, you could give a fuck about a ghostwriter. You know what I mean? As long as the tunes, as long as they slap, that's all most people care about. You know what I mean? But for us, for people that have these conversations, for the people that like just a year, not a year, 2 years ago, just 2 years ago, when him and Cole dropped First Person Shooter, and we was all losing our mind. Like that was like the song of the year that year. You know what I mean? Like even us on this side of things, right? We were still giving Drake his propers.
Yeah.
So when I say things like, where are things going for him in the near future? He's gonna have his diehard fans, the OVO, what's that community?
Paradise.
The Club Paradises of the world. Like they're always gonna support the casuals. He'll be playlisted somewhere. The casuals will run the numbers up. But as far as like his standing in the game, even for those that lived through the first, the initial ghostwriting allegations, and we're still like, all right, but it was just like a few songs. It wasn't like the actual rapidy raps or whatever. It's just like at this point, like after the battle, then a lawsuit, then more leaks on top of that, more ghostwriter allegations on top of that. I feel like, I feel like his stock is gonna take a hit. It's gonna take a hit, at least from from us, from the 30-somethings, from the people that really care about the culture and like the actual, the way that this shit it was built
supposed to be. Yeah.
I just want my credit. Jarvis gonna have to give me credit, maybe on the next episode next week. But y'all are here now, so I need my respect. I need my credit. Because no matter, the OVO flag, the knock the joggers, you know what I'm saying? No matter how hard I rep the team, you know what I mean? Shout to the owls, no matter how many owl emojis is in my phone history. I've never created fake reference tracks. What's up with that, Cindy? Is that what it's getting
to? So I heard what happened? The Drake fans was creating fake reference tracks.
That's what
for Kendrick.
And I don't know whether it was like on some play type shit.
Well, it's definitely not play.
Whether they was really trying to convince people.
There is no play between those two fan bases.
What up, man?
Like there's absolutely no play. Nothing is tongue in cheek. Nothing is oh, I was just joking around. Like there's none of that between those two fan bases.
Yeah.
There's a little
I'm not off the deep end yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You need more Drake fans like you, Mace. The world would be a better place, bro.
Listen, man.
But listen, man, I've been seeing. Look, that I've heard that there has been AI videos created on both sides of the fence.
care. Like
I don't
know.
I don't know because maybe it's my algorithm that's feeding me something that I'm gonna get upset about, right? Because they want me to rage. But I have only seen the AI videos that the OVO camp is making against Kendrick. You know what I mean? I seen the AI video where they took the photo of the black and white photo of Kendrick and Whitney and the kids.
Yeah, I seen that.
And then and he's like with the shotgun or whatever, and then all of a sudden like he turns the shotgun on her. I'm like, y'all need
Shit.
so
I didn't
much
see
help,
that. That's
yo.
crazy.
I
Y'all
seen
need
like
hella
nasty shit.
therapeutic help. Go
What
talk
is a
to somebody.
cesspool, man?
Seek therapy. That shit is crazy.
Get help. Stop.
Get some help.
You know what I mean? I don't shit. It's quite possible that there's some Kendrick fans out there also making some AI videos, but like I haven't seen them. I've seen the ones that the Club Paradises in them have been
I seen
making
some
against
nasty
Kendrick.
ones with Adonis. I have seen,
The fans are fanning out,
fans are
bro.
getting crazy,
Like,
and that's why I try my best not to define an artist, not necessarily by their fans, but by their worst fans. You know what I'm saying? Because like that's
they make you
anybody
hate the
that's
person,
sick
bro.
enough to throw that prompt into Sora. You know what I mean? More Tupac, WWE videos. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yo,
too much, bro.
those just look a little too crispy, man.
You can keep
I
those
seen
too.
a AI video of Tupac as the leader of the NWO bringing Whitney Houston and Tina Marie into the faction. It's getting crazy. It's getting crazy.
That shit is wild.
Won't be able to believe your eyes soon, man.
But listen, I don't put anything past the OVO camp. I'm sure they're grasping at straws right now.
That's really it.
Trying to like
all that work trying to figure something out, man.
Yeah, just trying to like gain some footing or regain some footing after the whole lawsuit fell apart. They were banking so much. They put all the stock into this lawsuit. Drake is gonna win. He's doing it for the artists. Like, just wait till what's coming around the corner. Like, motherfuckers like, what's the dirt? That like co-signing all this shit, all for the shit to just like.
That was regularly scheduled programming.
What's the dirt?
That was regular scheduled programming.
Chat, man.
That's all that left is Sora 2 prompts. That's all they got.
Yo,
what's the name? They probably got a whole list of them. You know what I mean?
Yo,
just rolling them out like every few days. Crazy, man. Anyway, let's start wrapping this shit up. We got one more thing to talk about real quick. We won't spend too much time on this. You know what I mean? But Ransom, we talked about Ransom last week. Getting ready to drop a collaborative project with DJ Premier.
Right.
Ahead of the Nas and DJ Premier album that we've all been waiting decades for. All of a sudden, Ransom comes out of nowhere, out of left field, off the top rope. Like, hold up now.
Hold my beer.
I got a project with the God Primo myself. The first single drop called Amazing Graces. They even have a video for it. Fellas, what's the word? Tell me your thoughts on this song. Y'all spun it, right?
Yeah.
Mace.
I'm on the fence.
Talk to me. What does that mean?
I think.
What do you mean by that?
I think Ransom, the display of rapping was some of his best. This is flow-wise, flow dexterity. He's always a barsmith. I feel like I have to basically pound this in with a shovel every time we talk about it, but it's like, pause.
Whoa, what?
Just beat it into the ground, pause. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, that didn't fix anything.
Expert lyricism, like wordplay, vocabulary, like let's really talk about it, because like we always say niggas is lyricists, but wordplay, vocabulary, diction, pause if necessary, like just the way he puts words together is artistic. You get what I'm saying? He was the highlight of that track. The flow gave me coup de grace. I haven't heard him flow like that since coup de grace. He always raps crazy, but the flow, it brought. John even gave me said Hove esque, if I'm not mistaken, right? Capturing like Hove esque vibes. The
97.
video, the everything about it just felt grandiose, except for the fucking beat, bro. What happened?
Yo,
Happened, bro?
D, relax.
Yo, fam,
Yo,
you,
what did your hat have?
Yeah,
What did your
man.
hat do?
you know,
Why you
I
taking
felt
it out
like,
on your hat?
yo, shout out to the Yanks, man. Y'all did bad too. But yo, I wanted to love this. And in terms of Rand's half, if I could cut the track in, I love what Rand did. Expert level Marxism. You know what I'm saying? Marksmanship. Just like, but
Marxism.
Primo,
Oh, that's a
I know,
different
yeah, take
podcast,
that,
bro.
scratch that. But Primo,
Yo, they
just
about to flag the shit out of us, bro.
chill. Primo though,
Friends, they're over there.
I'm hurt, bro. I'm hurt. I wanted to love this production, bro. It just sounds so incomplete. It sounds so dry. It sounds like he's trying to like. Damn, I hate talking about Primo like this, but it sounds like he's trying to find what he had, but he just can't. You get what I'm saying? It's like the nigga going for a dunk, and you see him, he's all the way there, and then as soon as he's up, Sprite commercial, boing against the rim. Like it's just not, it just don't connect, bro. It's making me mad nervous for the rest of the project, and it's making me super nervous for the Nas project. Cause I'm like, they're right behind each other. And I maybe he said, Nas, I'm gonna give you the A1 shit, I'm gonna give him my B batch or some shit. I don't know. I don't know what the situation was, what the conversations was. There's a lot of history behind him and the Nas one, so it's a lot more riding on this pause, if applicable again. But bro, that's not the Primo I was expecting, bro. I, I know impressed. You know what I'm saying? I know impressed, bro. I don't like the production. It sounds very lackluster. It sounds like it's missing something. It sounds like one of the joints he had in the old floppy from the Akai MPC. Yeah,
All right,
I'm not
all right.
happy, bro.
We get it.
Shout out to
we get
Ransom,
it.
though. Expert
Relax.
rapping.
Lay off Primo,
The-
man. Lay off Primo. He's a
yo,
legend, man. Yo,
legend. But this,
take the Timbs off, man.
yo,
Take the Timbs off.
I got on the vast right now, nigga. Went old school. The vast on.
Sheesh.
I'll cook after
Nice.
because I gotta cut right out after
All
this.
right,
fellas. Agree with the Ransom take. Ransom has reached a level technically that is like, like, can you rap any better technically? You know what I'm saying? Like, or some just, it's like water. He moved like water. It's Bruce Lee type shit. You know what I'm saying? Ransom, I see people, just because we call Ransom super nice don't mean Lloyd Banks is not super nice, Dre. There's a two master MC. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
One compliment is not an insult to the other, but we speaking on Rand now. And Rand is just, he's Neo at the end of the Matrix. You know what I mean? He's fighting and not even looking at you. You know what I mean? Like, it's very impressive because I actually was listening to some of Rand's old shit, like the Pain music, like Pain and Glory type vibes, like 06. And I was like, damn, like I was super into Ransom pause then, you know what I'm saying? Like, so to just watch like the post-pandemic, just thinking about how with the type of artist, the type of MC he's come, it's just, that's what hip-hop is all about, you know what I mean? So salute to Rand on there. Initially I was a little bit underwhelmed by the Primo production too. I didn't take off my hat and toast it like, dang, but I'm getting to the point where I'm wondering, I'm starting to question myself a little bit because largely cloth niggas did love this record. Me, like I say, I was a little underwhelmed by the production, and I'm thinking, I'm like, am I at the point where it's like I've seen Jordan jump from the free throw line, so when he just does a reverse dunk, I'm like, what the fuck, you know what I mean?
There you go.
Has given us the best production in hip hop history.
Godly.
You know what I'm saying? Like literally. So it's like, I'm like, am I just being hard on Primo? You know what I'm saying? And with those expectations, along with knowing everything you hear, is like, damn, what is the Nas project going to sound like? Is this what the Nas beats is going to sound like? I did the same thing with the Rock Marcy project, where I was just thinking about the Nas and Primo project the whole time, and not really, you know, Sin was very complimentary of the album. Me, I just was, I was like, I was underwhelmed because, you know, I'm waiting for 10 Crack Commandments and shit, you know.
Right.
But, you know, so I think I'm at that point with Primo. To me, it's a solid first single. If there's a bunch of more of these joints, I think it still will resonate with the cloth, resonate with the culture, you know. But on my initial thought, I was like, damn, I wish, you know, Primo's 8 might seem underwhelming to me at this point. You know what I mean? Just because I'm used to 10s in his, you know, vast, illustrious career. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna put it on pause. It's not my favorite joint that I've heard this year, you know, but you know, I feel like I need to reevaluate the way I'm, you know, just judging Preem so hard on everything. You know what I mean? I gotta show some respect.
That's
But fellas, I will get out of here with that. Salute to the chat.
Mesito, you're ready,
Like,
bro.
subscribe, hit that hype button. More like 20 minutes after we go off, look for the hype button. And when we first go off, it be gone. But salute, fellas. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Copy, Brody.
Yeah. So I very much appreciate Mace saying what he said. You know,
Yeah.
You gotta grant certain artists, certain producers, certain people in the culture and in our music, grant them some grace. You know, they've been in the legendary DJ Premier's legendary, been in the game, over like close to 40 years at this point. You know what I mean? Late 80s is when Gangstar first dropped. You know,
Word. Salute.
You know, joints with Nas, Jay, Hov. Yeah, I said big. What did I say? Nas, Jay. Oh, sorry, Nas, Jay, Hov, Biggie. Yeah, Jay and Hov are the same person. You know, got classics with, you know, he made classics out of certain artists like, you know, J. Rue, Group Home, obviously the Gangstar stuff, you know, the Locks, the list goes on and on. You know, that it's an endless list of, you know,
classics,
just hip hop, you know, pure hip hop classic material.
Greatness, yeah, man.
But I mean, he's been in the game for a long time, and you know, it's just again, I think it's a little natural for somebody to lose a step or two. You know, when I first heard this song and that beat first cut on, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I'm gonna like this. This is a situation in which I feel like I like this. I like the joint. I like the song overall, but this is definitely a situation in which the beat was just kind of okay, but what Ransom did with it,
oh my god,
the way he was able to, like you said, like water just flow through it.
Bodied it, bro.
This is what I'll say about the production is it gave enough space for Ransom
him to go off like that.
To be able to do a little more than what he usually does. Now, that's not to say that what he usually does is you know, is bad in any sort of way. You know, I don't mean it as a negative. But a lot of the time, like with the production that Ransom raps over, there's not an awful lot of ways to attack the beats. You know,
the straight bars.
He does this like the straight through, you know, beginning to end, just straight bars. And, you know, and even some people have said, you know, like there's only one sort of style that Ransom kind of sticks with, right? And it, you know, it comes down to whether you love what he does or you don't, right? We all personally here at the Rap Round Table, we love what Ransom does. Right?
It's elite.
But the point is, usually with the production that he raps over, there's one way to sort of attack it. With this particular beat that Primo gave him, this is where I'll give Primo credit here.
It's flowers, yeah, man.
It allowed him to switch up the flow in certain places. It allowed him to have certain pockets that he doesn't usually have in production that he raps on. It allowed him to sort of bob and weave in a
Are you
way that
saying
he
that?
doesn't usually
Are you
do.
saying that it allowed Duffel to get in his duffel? Is that what you're saying?
Allow Duffel to get in his bag
You
in a,
know,
in a
like
different kind of
word.
duffel. And so I think I think the song is greater than the sum of its parts. I think as a package, put together, I think it's a good song. But I am going to be honest. Uh, if it if if it was just the instrumental, if it was just the primo beat, there's something about it more so than the composition of it that I don't like, and it's actually the sonics of it. This doesn't like, and I've heard this with a lot of the beats that he's put out recently. It doesn't sound like he's using maybe the same equipment, or it doesn't sound like he's using the same recording process, or maybe not using the same studio. I know D&D studios. It's been a long time since that existed, but it's like how when I go into an Alchemist project or into an Alchemist song, I expect a certain sonic element. The whatever gear he uses, whatever plugins he uses, whatever EQ, compressors, all of that, like the way they're mixed, I expect a certain sonic sense from Alchemist. When I go to listen to Premiere now I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to get, and it's so sonically it sounds so far removed from what it used to sound like. And again, I'm not comparing it in the sense of primo beats were so much better before than they are now, which there's an element of that too. But just like sonically, I'm not gonna lie, like that's
it's
like there's an element of that. But sonically, like the way that the drums sound, it just I don't know
the same frequency, bro.
It's not the same frequency. It sounds a little piercing to me. Like it doesn't have that same roundness, the same fullness.
It sounds like Primo's ears are getting old. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like his ears are getting old. Like the lips, the loops were mad. Like usually there's some break in a primo beat around the loop where it's like, oh, some shit that's some mystifying shit you can kind of maneuver around. Like as of late, it's just been straight chops, bro. And they've not even been fire chops. What we will say is this: Primo is godly. Like we're not gonna talk about Primo like he's not. But that is why we are talking about him like this, bro, because the nigga is godly. You feel what I'm saying? Like so to hear I don't want to use the word degradation, but to hear the slight fallback from where it used to be. Is Nas it was written Nas from KD3? No, but the albums were still great. It still gave you that feeling. I just feel like Primo not even giving me the feeling right now, bro.
Yeah,
and when I listen to the track, truth be told, I just wanted to kind of like throw one of your beats under the shit, like because the rapping is magnificent. It just the beat to me, bro. It helps him get the flow across, but as a total package of a beat, it don't do what it's supposed to do for the lyrics, bro.
But that's what's interesting. It's like Primo's still providing a certain bounce in a certain pocket that is tailor made for a rapper like Ransom to bob and weave through. It's just compositionally and sonic wise, in and of itself, the beat is a little, it's a little lackluster. It's a little mixed. It's a little lackluster. And again, like I think back on like how hard primo drums used to hit, not just because they were loud, but because of the way they were programmed,
the way bro.
The swing that he used to have in the drums. Like that's just it's not there.
Yo,
right? It's
Primo music felt like the streets. If I could describe the streets, it was Primo's music, bro. Like Primo's music made you feel like you was outside in the cold of winter, bro, in the projects. Like it just don't do that for me right now. Maybe this is just this one song. Maybe he'll have a litany of those shits with Nas. Maybe there's a litany of those more to come with Ransom. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just know like right now, the rapping is just overpowering the beat. Crazy.
And also I want to be clear. This is from the one person who was a fan of the Rock Marcy and Primo project here at this table, because most people, most everybody else at this table were like, "Oh, it's cool." I actually highly enjoyed it. There were a couple of joints where I was like I was hearing like the kind of fall off Primo, but on that project, like that was the closest I had heard Primo to like getting back to where he was in recent years. Like there was really like a sign of that old Primo that I used to love, that we all used to love. Yeah. But here with this beat, I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope he's he set aside and saved some better productions for the Nas project, because that shit is gonna have to deliver, man. It has to.
But like
there's no other choice.
love the rapping. I love the video. I even love the video. It even gave me that old school vibe. It just I feel like on the next joint, they'll hit 2 out of 3 out the park, as opposed to they hit 3 out of 3 out the park, as just opposed to the 2 out of 3, as opposed to just the rapping and the video. Hopefully, on the next joint, the beat does the same thing that the rap and the video do to me. That's all I hope. Because, like I said, this is the precursor to what we're gonna get from Nas, and I just would hate for that to not sound good, bro. Like culturally, like for the whole hip hop just to be waiting for this. This is like coveted shit that niggas been waiting damn near like 30 years for. You feel me? There's a lot of energy behind this, and it's a lot riding on this shit, bro. Pause. Like the balance of hip hop is like I'm saying, like it's in the air, man. I need this to be really good. I need to want to play this. I need this. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
More than I want it. I need it, bro. It's due time.
But there's an element missing. If you could get back to like whether it's the machines that you were using back in the day, or like the studio. Again, D&D is not around anymore, but if you could get back into some of those older, dustier studios that you used to make records in, something, record,
or even
or if you because it also feels like everybody's mixing. I'm about to get into my like production nerd shit, but everybody's mixing in the box now. You throw up Pro Tools, you all the plugins are in Pro Tools that emulate the actual physical hardware. All the EQs, the compressors, the reverbs, the tape delay, or like all of that. You know what I mean? So you have all of this digital software that's emulating actual hardware, but nothing's ever going to sound like the hardware. You know what I mean?
So hardware, yeah.
If you're a Primo, if you're, I know for a fact, like Alchemist still produces with all the same old gear that he's been using for the past, 30 some odd years, right? For the most part, it's still the same MPC 2500. You know what I mean? Still, samples off vinyl. Still, uses the same, a lot of the same old hardware because it has a sound. There's a texture, color to it. There's a texture to it. With this Primo production, like it there's a lot of that texture that's missing, and that's mainly what's bothering me, more so than the composition itself. Is like it doesn't sound sonically like a Primo production,
Yeah.
Anyway, but I mean, still in all, I've spun the song a few times. I'll spin it a few more times. Again, Ransom went off some crazy on it. So Ransom. I just hope in this project and in the last project a little better on the production, please.
Nothing else. I'm excited for how great he had Rand sounded. Yeah. So if the beat can get a little better, and he still has some sound in the Mac in it like that, I'm down. You feel me?
Facts. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna get to the super chats and get the hell out of here.
Super chats.
This is getting late. Gonna start with Ariel Smoke. Oh, sure. I can't show them on the screen because I'm not John logged in to the, so I can't show them on the screen. I'm just gonna
read them out loud. We'll show love.
Yeah. Ariel Smoke. No excuses for Tyler. Pack him up. Long live D'Angelo and Angie Stone. I don't excuse BS, no matter how much I like an artist. Go Chiefs. F the Bills and Yankees. Giants would blow a lead. Joey Joey Aesop Curse.
Yeah, that Giants
But,
game was brutal.
Yeah, man.
Brutal.
I saw the highlights of that. You know, a lot of there's a lot included in that Ariel super chat. But as far as the Tyler thing, look, like I 100%, I understand. Like if there's certain things that you just don't excuse, no matter what. Yeah, absolutely. You know,
That type of shit.
But you know, I don't know what specifically about Tyler, and again, not because I'm a fan, because I don't even consider myself a fan really. You know, I haven't really like followed his music or his career super close, but like I do think that like the person that he is now and the person that he's become, there's been a genuine evolution there.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I want to at least grant him that grace, but like you got to know that when you wild out to that extent,
the
it's
grace,
and
the
it's,
slim
you know,
grace.
you weren't 12 or 13, you weren't a minor, you know what I mean? You were
Man.
legal age, you know, so you should have known better for sure. Down in Dixie with the 4.99, salute to you.
Salute.
Ariel's was $10. Down in Dixie, 4.99.
Appreciate
D'Angelo's death should make us as Black men pay more attention to our health. Styles P's herbal product line is top shelf and
Juices for life.
For sure, 100%. We've, you know,
shout out to SP.
You know, we very often mention that here, because you know we've had to, you know, say rest in peace to, you know, entirely too many great artists of our time, of our generation, of our culture. Untimely deaths is, you know, unfortunately too much of a normal in our community, in our societies, you know. So for sure, definitely, you know, watch out for your health, eat better, drink better, you know, go to the doctor, you know.
Take care of yourselves.
Listen, I don't want to speak for a community that I'm not, you know, fully part of, but like, you know, in our community as well, you know, the Latino community, we do not like to go to the doctor. You know, we expect bad news whenever we go to the doctor. And what do we want to go and hear bad news for? You know what I mean? I want to be able to I want to be able to eat all my fried food and drink all of my Bacardi in peace without a doctor trying to get all up in my business. You know what I mean? But at a certain age, you can't be doing all that. You know what I mean? You got to take care of yourself. For sure.
Facts.
Jeremy Cole with the 4.99. Salute to you. Tell Beam he better stay right with you. Only thing we know for sure is the Canadians' original work is that lawsuit. Hashtag not like us.
Cold-blooded. Salute to you, family.
But it also seems like every other week, every month or so, like there's a new layer to euphoria that just rings true in a way that we didn't realize before, man. Euphoria is aging like the finest of wines, man.
It's scary.
Down in Dixie once again, spinning the block, $9.99 this time. Tyler should have room to make mistakes and grow as a person. However, life is still a resume, and he should have been careful what he put on it. He needs to address this directly. 100%, I agree with everything Down in Dixie said to a T. T-Mac with the $10 super sticker just for the love. Appreciate you, T-Mac.
Mac, love.
Cam Porter, Cam, $10. I like the new track from Primo and Ransom. Primo beats used to sound warmer, more analog. See exactly what I'm saying.
Yep.
It's something with the mix to me, but overall still solid. The new Big L featuring Nas single is dope too. Hey, listen, can we talk real quick about that Big L and Nas? Yeah, I feel like we should have talked a little bit about it, but while we're here, before we go, listen, man, Nas verse.
They got those Big L vocals that they were talking about, huh?
Listen, man, I'm very much looking forward to this project now, especially after the first single. The beat is cool, but like, you know, the way Big L and especially Nas is going off on this record, insane, man. And see, this is why, you know, sometimes you might feel like we unfairly look at certain older artists, like, you know, oh, they don't got it like they used to or whatever, or they're falling off. You know, it might seem unfair, but like, Listen, Nas
is here. He's
50,
the pinnacle, bro.
51
We see it.
on that CMOS or whatever the
Ginseng,
might be, copied
Henny,
from Style Speed store. Cause
whatever, but it's working, man.
man,
It
listen,
sounds immaculate.
that was that was like nasty Nas. That was nasty Nas level of
Let's just give a
work.
little love here, man. Between the curation of the projects, his label doing the whole shit, like supplying these masterful verses, man. Just shout out to Nas, man. We gonna give Nas a little round of applause, man.
Shouts to
Doing the
Nas.
Lord's work. Shout out to
Listen,
Escobar, man.
a lot
Master
of
Pill, the whole fam.
listen, like, I don't know who the even Steven is in this situation, but the way that Drake is stacking L's is the same way that Nas is stacking W's
Stacking
right now
dubs, right?
on opposite ends of the spectrum, man. I don't know who's in between, but like, look, yo, the casino. There was the third annual paid in full.
Book at Comic-Con.
Yeah, the comic book at Comic-Con. This year they honored G-Rap and Grand Poobah, I believe, and maybe one other person.
That's the scholarship joint.
The Paid in Full Foundation
retirement joint. Yeah.
Yeah.
Salute.
The Mass Appeal rollout, the guest verses. Yo, Nas is he keeps winning, man. There's no slowing up for Nas. Love to see it. Love to see it. Anyway, I think that wraps it up for the supers. Let me double check. Yes, indeed. So we're gonna get out of here. Deanie, take us home, man.
Y'all already know the vibes. We got 177 of y'all left. Hit the like before you go. To hit that hype button too. Subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We love y'all like y'all love us. Thanks for sticking with us. Shout out to Jarvie. Shout out to Macito. Shout out to Sincere. I'm Dean the Balance with our powers combined. You know what the vibes is, man. It's the Rap Round Table, man. Number one hip hop podcast. You dig? Salute. Love.